But you mentioned Osama bin Laden. Okay, now I wasn't there for that part, but from what I understand, I was there, but not with that part of the unit. What happens is in Afghanistan, for example, you've got so many assets committed every night to running operations all across the country. Every unit. Delta Force is the premier counterterrorist in the world. Hands down. SEAL Team 6 came after the unit, okay? In fact, a lot of the SOPs and stuff they got from us.
SOPs?
Standard operating procedures, right? Things like that. TONE, training operations, equipment, tables, stuff like that.
I got to get Remy and a guy in a room with this guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's so good.
I forgot you guys don't
He's
understand
so
acronyms. But anyways.
That guy just mentions the Navy SEAL, but I think
we'll have hand-to-hand combat in here. It'd be freaking awesome. Yeah,
go ahead,
I'll probably screw up his hair gel though, but
he don't have hair. He's just like you.
Oh yeah,
he's got a dome.
Because all the hair gel he was using. That's why you don't have the hair. Mine's just hereditary.
Anyway, you were saying standard operating procedures came from you guys.
So, anyways, long story short, how is the decision made? Who goes? There's a lot of variables and factors. SEALs were literally out of their element on the ground. They do water ops, okay, and just because we didn't have enough special operations capabilities, they found themselves doing a lot of the land stuff as well. I'm not saying they can't do it; they can. But you mentioned Osama bin Laden. Okay, now I wasn't there for that part, but from what I understand, I was there, but not with that part of the unit. What happens is in Afghanistan, for example, you've got so many assets committed every night to running operations all across the country. Every unit. They're running ops.
Oh, yeah.
You could be running 20, 30 operations a night, and there's only a limited amount of helicopters and assets available to support those operations. And so, when it came down to, him, it's like the first people they call was the unit, Delta. Okay. And then Delta goes, okay, looking at our matrix, what's the probability the guy's there? And if it doesn't cross a threshold, for example, more than 50%, they're like, yeah, you know what, give it to our little sisters, the SEALs, let them handle that one. Let them do some fun stuff tonight, right? Well, we do something else. And, that was a mistake that night, because it just so happens he was there and, they got the glory for it. And, look, one team, one fight. I'm not begrudging that kind of stuff, but,
sounds like you're begrudging a little bit.
Well, maybe.
I hear a little bit.
Maybe, but, a lot of SEAls are my friends too.
Imagine if the last thing Osama bin Laden saw was that handlebar. Like, you're dead, motherfucker.
That would kill
Goodbye.
him. That kills automatically. It's got like 30 kills by itself, I mean, for sure.
Are you a guy do you have the cigar hanging out your mouth while you're shooting people?
No, I actually have a lollipop, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a lollipop guy.
Yeah, I like sucking on lollipops, man. I'm not a cigar guy, but
I wouldn't have taken you for that.
Yeah, I got pictures of me downrange. People taking pictures of me.
I just need the Tropic Thunder image of you with the fucking AK in your hand, just with the cigar chomping out like America.
No, there's a metrics for it. It just depends. What the mission is, and also what assets are available, and what the units that they want to use, are they already committed to something else? So it's task organization. It's done at another level, and it's not who's better. It's who's available and who can do the job type thing. So
how many people are in your standard Delta Force group?
That I can't tell you.
Oh,
yeah,
can't tell me.
No, that's classified.
Can you give me a ballpark?
It's not many. You just do the math, right? I just told you earlier today.
Not a lot.
3 guys made it through. Yeah, and so the numbers are very small. But the guys that are selected, they're selected because they bring something to the table in that they have above average IQs, PT tests, physical fitness scores, no judicial punishment. There's all these things they factor in, right? And they're looking for the right guy, as I mentioned earlier, not necessarily the best guy, because that's all relative. What's the best guy, right? Everybody thinks, oh, he's the biggest, the fastest, he must be the best. No, I've seen a lot of big, fast guys fall flat on their face real fast. It's not about that. And who is the right guy? Actually, it's kind of a well-kept secret between the psychologist and the command section, and only certain people in the command section know what the standard is. Nobody else knows what the standard is. I remember one day standing around in Squadron Bay at the end of the day with some of the other operators. We're drinking our beer or Coke or milk or whatever guys were drinking, and we're like, what do you guys think? Why do you think we're here? And we're always playing the guessing game. What Why are we here? Anybody take a guess, And one guy came up with a pretty good answer. I thought, he probably hit the nail on the head. And he goes, yeah, we're all here because we're all controlled psychopathic killers. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because nobody has in the
controlled psychopathic killers.
Well, if you think about it, right? So it takes a little bit of psychopathy to go out and be able to kill, and take out people and not really have a lot of remorse for it. If you're killing bad guys, you shouldn't lose any sleep over it. It's when good people get hurt, that's when you lose your sleep.
Yes.
And so I thought about it. I was like, no man here standing with me or in that unit has an aversion to going to combat. In fact, we all look forward to it. We actually look forward to it. That sounds even more bizarre, right? It's like, wow, you guys really want to go do this? Like, yeah. It's like playing, it's like playing on a professional football team. And what do you want to do? You want to play what? At the end of the year, you want to play the Super Bowl, right? Who wants to just play and everybody gets a trophy? No, we want to win in the Super Bowl, right? And that's kind of how it was in the unit. It's like, this is why we're here. We want to be the best. We want to do the things we've learned how to do. And it's not just because we're, again, controlled psychopathic killers. It's not that. It's because at the end of the day, we're driven by, patriotism. Integrity and honor and all those things that, a lot of soldiers hold near and dear to their heart. We believe in certain things. Maybe a lot of civilians don't, but as soldiers we do, and that's what compels us and allows us to go out there and face the enemy, knowing that we may never come back.
I had one of the spooks I had in here was this guy Jim Lawler. It's interesting to talk with you because your expertise was in the field undercover with nuclear arms deals and things like that. And it's like the whole reason we went to Iraq was because they had WMD, and that turned out to not be true.
That's exactly right. People ask me about that sometime. And it is true that Saddam Hussein had been working on nuclear weapons before then. He had used chemical weapons against the Kurds. The Kurds are an ethnic group there in Iraq. Killed thousands of them. In fact, one of his cousins was known as Chemical Ali. And Chemical Ali used...
Who's like an old school CIA guy. He was, well, he says he's not in anymore, but are you ever really out? But he was in from 1980 to 2005. And one of the things he talks about a lot is the psychological profiles that they look for, in this case, within CIA case officers. And he is very open about the fact that one of the profiles they like, it doesn't mean every case officer is like this, but they love guys who are dangerously on the line of being a sociopath. Yeah. They're not a sociopath, but they get hirings wrong too. So every once in a while they do hire a sociopath. Right. But Jim talks about that. He's a self-awareness of it with himself. He goes, I'm like right there, but I'm not. But it allows me to be able to do my job because I have to make hard decisions where people die. Right. Bad shit happens. And is the bad shit for the good? That's the decision to make. So in your seat, like as a case officer, his main job is not to go out and fucking plow motherfuckers down who are bad, right? Your job is. And it could be any second, any day. You got to be willing to go in there. The boss says, hey, these guys are bad. Not even here's why. They're just bad. They got to go. You got to be able to go do that without sitting on the trigger like, maybe. Wait, is this guy really bad? You know what I mean? Like there's that, let's go.
Well, there's another component to that, right? So, and this is one of the reasons we know we're selected because it's constantly ingrained into our heads. At the end of the day, there's nobody can tell you when to shoot or when not to shoot. This is why they're looking for the thinker who's a shooter. You've got to make a judgment call. Is this worth the shot? Now here's my example. Okay, so Modelo Prison, raid on Modelo Prison. This is actually on Discovery Channel, I think on History Channel. They declassified it. So that was a rescue of Kurt Muse out of Modelo Prison, 1989 in Panama. And
you were involved?
I was a breacher on it. I'm the guy that actually blew the doors in on the annex on top of the prison and went down to get him out. So as we were coming in, if you can just imagine, we had a hit time of midnight on the December 20th. And about 7 hours out, we got intelligence that we had been compromised